Earlier this year, my husband and I received the opportunity of a lifetime. We were invited to fly out to Yosemite National Park in California. Not only that, we received the lottery to hike the coveted and famous Half Dome hike. This trip was truly an unforgettable trip in so many ways, and it was also the first opportunity that my husband and I have had to travel together alone since we became parents 4 years ago. So in this video, I'm going to be giving you a little glimpse into this memorable trip, share with you all the beauty and all of the amazing trails that we were able to visit during our time here. So I hope that you enjoy this video, and if you do, make sure to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. I hope that this video inspires you and encourages you that you can do hard things and it is worth it. One of our first stops on our trip was the Sequoia National Forest. It has been a long-awaited dream of mine to be able to see and be in the presence of one of these grand and rare trees. The sequoias have been known to be well over thousands of years old, dating back to somewhere around 900 AD, and I just cannot tell you how stunningly beautiful this hike was. Not only just with the views, but even with all of the remnants of wildfires that have long passed. There is just nothing that can take away the grandeur of these trees, and so I still am so grateful for this alone, to be able to bear witness to something that is just so rare in our world today. And just like that, with one day to get acclimated and to adjust, we set out on the famous Half Dome hike and started for Half Dome via the John Muir Trail. I will say that the views on the way up this trail were some of my favorite moments of the entire trip. Being on this side of the mountain as the sun was rising and passing the falls, it just made the whole experience that much more memorable and beautiful, in my opinion. The way that the sunlight started peeking over and through the trees, and it also kept things infinitely cooler. We talked often that if we were to come back and do this again, that it definitely is crucial to get there as early as possible, because once we reached the subdome and once we summited, the heat definitely started to take its toll. So we actually reached the subdome trailhead around 10:30 in the morning, which is the final leg before you reach the cables. And I heard before this hike that subdome was by far the hardest part, even compared to the cables. And having now done it, I definitely would say that I am prone to agree, just because of the way that the subdome is laid out with the rocks. That's just my opinion. All in all, the end is definitely by far the toughest part, I think, of this whole hike, because it definitely tests your will and your perseverance of whether or not you wish to really get to the top. I think it is fair and a conquest in and of itself just to even get to Subdome. I mean, we ended up hiking, I think, a total of 18.6 miles at the end of the day. So you know that once you get to the top, you're going to have to turn around and go back down. I definitely will say that I was nervous when I got to the top of Subdome. I went into this hike fully prepared and wanting to take on the cables into summit. This being our first adventure together as a married couple, as parents, I didn't want to come all that way not to do it, but there was a small part of me that definitely was nervous. But for me, I think it's so important for you to have that discernment within yourself. I really loved that energy about this hike because everyone was so supportive and respectful of everyone's decision. Our last day, we did this hike to these falls, which was about 4 miles round trip, and honestly, it was such a perfect way to end off this trip and just recover mentally and emotionally and physically, and was just a perfect end to a wonderful visit to such a beautiful state. Until next time, bye.